Hi, my name is JD and this is my channel Frost and Forest, and today is going to be game number 4. I am doing the Tarot March Madness Challenge started by Crescent Dreams Tarot, and so this is game 4, and today I am going to have the numinous tarot versus the tarot of the guiding muse. So if this is the first video of these that you're seeing, I would recommend that you go back and watch my first couple videos on this, because otherwise there's about to be spoilers. But basically the way it works is, in order to celebrate March Madness, I'm doing this challenge where I am having my decks go up against each other. I have 4 indie decks that I started with: the Lighted Window Tarot, the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot, Numinous Tarot, and Tarot of the Guiding Muse. And then I had 4 mass market decks that I started with, so Light Seers, Fifth Spirit, Tarot for the Great Outdoors, and the So Below deck. And so in order for a deck to win when they go up against each other, they have to get points after doing 3 different challenges. So basically the deck that has the most points is the one that wins. So in game 1, I had Fifth Spirit that won. In game 2, I had Cosmic Wisdom that won. And then in game 3, I had Tarot for the Great Outdoors 1. And so the first challenge that I'm going to do with these decks is I'm going to try to shuffle them. And the second challenge that I do is I look through the cards and I pick out my favorite cards, and the one that has more of my favorite cards wins the second challenge. And then if there is a tie, then I do a quick 3-card spread. So we'll see if we need to use that today. So we are going to start with the Numinous Tarot. And again, I have really small hands, so it's really hard for me to get my hands around some decks. I have to really strain. And so my shuffling is just not always as pretty as other people's shuffling. And I usually have a few cards left on either side. But that is just the reality of having small hands. So that went pretty well. I had to strain my hands a little bit to get around it. But I was mostly able to shuffle it. So that was the Numinous Tarot. And now the Tarot of the Guiding Muse is a beautiful deck, but it is a giant deck. And there is no way that I'm going to be able to get my hands around that. That's just not going to happen. Also, side note, this deck came with such an interesting smell. I don't know, it's interesting. But we're talking about shuffling right now. So I'm going to attempt to shuffle it kind of this long way, just because I can't get my hands around it. So that was not a great shuffle. And so unfortunately for this one, I think the fact that it is so large just means it's not going to win. So that means that I'm going to give 1 point to the Numinous Tarot. So now I am going to stop the video quick, and when I come back, I will show you my favorite cards from both of these decks. I am back and I have gone through my favorite cards for both of these decks. And so I'm going to start out with the Numinous Tarot. So this is one of the earlier indie decks that I've gotten. One of the things that I love about this deck is the reimagining of a couple of the different suits. So the suit of swords is actually bells, and the suit of pentacles is tombs. And so you're going to see a lot of those cards as some of my favorites. The idea that the 10 of Pentacles or the 10 of Tombs is just this massive library, I think is so cool, and is part of what I love about this deck. or the idea of, you know, balancing all of the different things that you're learning, I just think is great. You know, and the kind of drowning feeling of the 10 of Swords, that just is really evocative to me. This deck also has great diversity in it, but I also think it's a very sweet deck. And then the court cards have been renamed as well. So for example, the creator would be the Queen of Swords, which I like. Or this would be the 8 of Swords, so that anxiety, you know, all those bells ringing around you. The Explorer is the Knight, so I think that this is kind of fun, elfy looking, like, not kind of like an elf looking Knight of Pentacles. I think that that's a beautiful Queen of Cups. And I absolutely love the Free Little Library as the 6 of Pentacles. That idea of giving in the community is just, I think it's sweet. The aces in this deck are pretty cool too. And this, you know, also the 5 of Pentacles, you know, being so desperate that you are literally burning books, something you cherish. You know, it just, that evokes something in me. The same with this card, you know, the idea of the 4 of Pentacles, of security, like you're keeping these books safe, but at the same time, if there's a lock on the door, people don't have access to that knowledge. That card just means a lot to me. And then this is one of my absolutely favorite Hermit cards in the whole wide world. I think it's partially because it feels a little bit Christmassy, but I love it. So that was my favorite cards for the Numinous Tarot. Altogether, there are 31 cards that I really like. Next, we have the Tarot of the Guiding Muse. This is a relatively new deck to me. I just got it within the last month, but I've really felt myself using it a lot. And I think part of it is because the negative cards, or like not as, you know, or negative skewed cards like the 4 of Coins or the 5 of Cups, those really make me feel things. Like this just really evokes feelings. Or the 3 of Swords, that heartbreak, like you can just see that she's heartbroken as someone is leaving. And so these just, part of what I love about this deck is it kind of feels like stories, or like I understand that these cards are part of a story. 4 of Swords, just resting. I also love that she kind of lives in, it seems like she kind of lives in this creepy old house. That is also kind of cool. And then lastly, what I really like about this deck is that it seems to like celebrate the little things in life. Not the little things, but the day-to-day things in life. You know, the idea that the 10 of Cups is just hanging out with your family, watching a movie in a cozy kitchen couch area. That feels perfect to me. I also like the kind of crime fighting feeling of the ace, and when you see the Justice card, that Devil card is very cool, a creepy old house. And again, you know, the negative cards like the 9 of Swords, just really, you can feel what she's feeling. The 4 of Wands, one of my favorite cards, just hanging out with her cats, celebrating her life. 5 of Wands, being out in nature. The Page of Pentacles is out looking for mushrooms. This feels like a deck that depicts the magic in everyday life. I like this Justice card. It has like Lady Detective vibes to it. So yeah, I think this is a really neat deck. I've been using it a lot, and I will tell you, it is big and hard for me to use. So the fact that I'm using it, even though it is big and hard for me to use, tells you how much I like it. But I'm done going through the cards, and this one had 36 cards that I really liked. Okay, so then the Guiding Muse gets 1 point because it had 36 cards, whereas the Numinous had 31 cards. So that means that I am going to be doing a 3-card spread, which I think it's a good sign that the decks that I have chosen have always ended in a tie, because it means I'm picking decks that are pretty competitive with each other. Okay, put your hands around that. It's hard for me to shuffle. Even still, tiny hands. So because there's a tie, I'm going to do a quick 3-card spread. I'm going to use the same spread that I've been using in my last videos, which are foundation, investment, and balance. And I'm not doing a reading for any particular person or anything particular thing. I'm just kind of seeing what kind of story the cards give me and which one seems more intuitive to me. Oops. Well, I guess we can start with my favorite card, although I don't know if that's fair. I don't know. I'm going to keep going. Maybe that's not fair. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, this is another card I like. And this card is going to be a little bit tricky, or this deck is going to be a little bit tricky because the suits and the court cards have been changed. So for example, the creator of Vials is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is my foundation. I do tend to use jumpers, which maybe I shouldn't because my hands are small, so I get a lot of jumpers, but it works for me. Okay, so my foundation is the Queen of Cups. And then I have my invest. And I have balance. So let's see what we got here. So the foundation, you know, empathy, emotional work, investing. So I could see this as, you know, you're really focused on trying to make people happy. And so you are really, you know, someone is really focused on, you know, doing that sort of emotional labor to try to make sure that somebody is happy. And then the balance is the 3 of Vials. But you also need to have a community, and you need to be able to have, you know, other people that support you as well. It can't just be a one-way street. And I also, you know, it seems like this card is them having fun. And so, you know, it can't just be about the emotional labor or the hard part, the support part. It also has to be about just hanging out with your friends and having a good time. And, you know, both of those things can bring you that happiness. So that seems like a pretty straightforward reading. Okay, so now we are going to see what the Guiding Muse has to say. I love the way this deck sounds. You hear that? Okay, so we're going to see what this one has to say. So we have the foundation, we have the investment, and the balance. So for the foundation, we have the 3 of Cups. Interesting. So strong friendships, strong community, strong, you know, celebration, spending time with the people you care about and celebrating. Investment. Interesting. So this says to me, maybe you are perhaps not focusing on the negative things, or perhaps not focusing on mental health issues, or perhaps not focusing on some of the darker sides, because, you know, your foundation is to just kind of party, and you're not really focusing on the negative side. And so, and then the balance, interesting. So the balance, the first thing that came to mind, and so I'm just going to say it. And again, you know, I don't really read for other people. I just read for myself, and that's just how it goes. But this says to me kind of that it's also about like a luck of the draw. And so whether you're spending time celebrating and dealing with this or not, also life is just going to happen. Yeah. So I think both of them were pretty easy to read just off the cuff like this. I think that I was able to tell a better story with the numinous tarot. So as much as I am really loving the tarot of the guiding muse right now, and I'm using it for my own, you know, personal readings right now, I think an old favorite, the numinous tarot, is going to win. So the numinous tarot gets another point there. And so, and it moves on. Okay, so that was the winner for game 4. And so come back for the next game, because next I will be doing the 5th spirit against the great outdoors. And then I will be doing the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot up against the Numinous Tarot. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.